What's going on, Real? It's Trey.
And it's Tasha.
Married to the Real, where we always keep it real. We're here for the Black Panther Wakanda Forever spoiler review.
Yes, so if you have not seen the movie, do not watch this video unless you want to be spoiled. We're not going to keep y'all here long because we want y'all to go see the movie. So I'm going to just start off by saying that I feel like the story was good for the situation. Well, I feel like the story was great for the situation Ryan had to deal with because he had already had a script done. And then, Chadwick passed, which to them was, like they didn't know. So that was like suddenly then to have to go back and redo it, to make it make sense for where Marvel's going in the future too. And then the costumes, like the clothing and everything they had done. I think her name is Ruth that did like the costumes. All of that was beautiful. The cinematography was beautiful. Talokan, I love seeing it like they're like a whole underwater situation. Like that should look real. Like I enjoyed that. And of course the soundtrack was fire. So you already know they was coming with the heat for the soundtrack. So
the earrings that you saw Letitia wear, or Shuri, they are pretty much comic accurate. Like she's worn those in the comics, like so.
He mean the funeral earrings, like the ones at the funeral.
If you watch that scene, like you can look up a picture of Shuri, you'll see those earrings. I didn't recognize them until I got back home and was looking at more stuff about Shuri, stuff I didn't already know. And I was like, wait a minute, I knew. I'm like, a lot of stuff is taken from the comics. They're very passionate. Ryan is very passionate about these outfits and everything he does with these characters. And Angela, everybody's character served a purpose. M'Baku was more comic relief. Like he didn't have a lot, but the stuff that he had was more comic relief. But because we needed that in those moments, you didn't like the movie was so heavy that you needed a character to pull you out sometimes of those moments, because you'll drown in those moments if you stay in them too long. And I'm like, it's like you had so many moments of, whew, okay, here we go.
Yeah,
okay.
As soon as how many of y'all got hit with the feel as soon as that shit came on?
I told y'all.
Like the opening, like the whole silent Marvel opening with all of the pictures of Chadwick. Then you move right into like the funeral. It was just like they got me like them first 5 minutes.
I knew. I was like,
was that what it happened first, or was it
Shuri? No, they had the heart shaped herb. Shuri trying to find a cure. I was like, I knew they were gonna do that. I was like, Shuri trying to save her brother and failing was going to be heavy in the story.
They had a lot of callbacks and parallels that I didn't notice until I saw like TikToks and stuff. Like how when T'Challa's dad died in the movie and he went to the ancestral plane and he was like, a father who hasn't prepared his kids for his death has failed as a father. And then like at the end of the movie you get that scene where like Nakia was like, oh, he prepared him, like for his death and stuff like that. Or like how I think when the first Black Panther came out and it had did so well, and then everybody was like talking about the movie, and then they have this clip where Chadwick was saying like to be young, gifted, and black, and then they had like Riri say that in the movie when they first like showed her. So it was just like cool to see them take stuff like that, like stuff you ain't gonna notice, you know what I'm saying, and them put it in there. Cause they had that to our friend is dedicated to our friend Chadwick, so that shit had me like balling too when it get ready to go off, and they got all these scenes of him and Shuri,
and this movie really showed you that sometimes you may not be ready to be great, but greatness is thrusted upon you. Yeah. That was the whole thing with Shuri. She had to have greatness thrusted upon her. And like the ancestral plane, it shows you who you need to see, not who you want to see. Yeah. That's what they were trying to convey. like this might not be who you need to see. Like this
Because
might
I
no,
feel
this
like
might be who you need to see, not so much who you want to see.
yeah, because I feel
Like
like Chadwick saw his dad because like not Chadwick, but T'Challa saw his dad because like he had questions about what he did, like when he found out. You know, like all that stuff that was going on with Killmonger showing up, and then like he said that like, oh, he killed his own brother and stuff. He was like, I got questions. So that's
that was the second time though.
well, who you saw the first time?
He saw his dad the first time, but
Well,
he
I just feel like that. I know for sure that second time, I'm like, he had questions and stuff, but I can see her like seeing Killmonger because
it made sense for her to see Killmonger because she was like at that point in her life, she was ready to burn the world down.
Yeah, she said that to her mom, like, cause she
Like-
was trying to like put a scientific spin on everything, like you know what I'm saying, just bury herself in her work and not like deal with it the way they deal with stuff.
Like
so.
she didn't truly grieve.
Yeah.
And I'm like, people will get lost in grief if you don't grieve.
I was surprised.
Don't really heal.
Cause I knew they had to have like the funeral for T'Challa's character, but I didn't think they were gonna kill Ramonda too. Like that kind of caught me off guard because I was like, "This what we doing?" And then I just feel like I don't know. Like I don't know why he chose to do that. It's like I kind of get it.
I get
with
it.
her and seeing her later to make her change her mind about the choice she made or whatever. But also it's like, is that so for Riri with her being new? Because you know you're gonna have people that's not really gonna accept her coming in and doing stuff too, and it's like this person sacrificed themselves to save her. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I didn't know if that was kind of like a thing too. Just you know, because sometimes it be like that with older people. Like it's like I'm saving this girl. She young. She got all this potential. I've lived my life already. You know what I'm saying? She lost her husband. She lost her son. She still had Shuri, but at the same time, it's like I feel like as a mother, I've taught you like if I'm not here, what you should do or what kind of person you should be. So it's up to you if you do that or not. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like she, you know, sacrificed herself for Riri because like I loved Riri though in the movie, like her introduction and her attitude and like seeing her. What she said, she was like 3 when she started building stuff. Mm-hmm. Like it be people out here that's gifted like that for real, and it's like you have to fight tooth and nail to get to them spots where you can do that because you don't have the money to get into these schools or you know people don't recognize you because of how you look and stuff like that. So just seeing her story, because I didn't know a lot about her, I knew a little bit.
And I like how she said, well, you probably don't have that problem in Wakanda, you know, like having to be you know what I'm saying, young, gifted, and black and have to show off. You don't probably have to do that. Y'all probably get along like and that's the thing about Wakanda. It's a back and forth as between like M'Baku and Okoye. Let's talk about Okoye. That character, I feel like is so above and beyond. She's fighting. She lets you know that she is the general. Like I'm gonna take out these 3, boom, 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 and I'm gonna take out the biggest guy.
Now I ain't gonna lie, I felt bad for
like when they came for Okoye, I'm like, y'all not gonna defend her. Nobody's gonna say nothing.
But that just went to show you how strict they were with that whole like you failed your duty. You said you was gonna do da 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 and you didn't. They stripped her of her shit, no questions. Like, and then I couldn't feel bad at the same time because I was like, in the first movie, she was loyal to the throne. Like Killmonger came in, she didn't necessarily have a loyal to. Like, of course, she didn't want to see that happen to them, but that was who the king was, and they went through the ritual the way they were supposed to and all that. So that's who she was loyal to. So it was like I couldn't even be mad at the queen for how she felt because it was like, bitch, a couple years ago, you know what I'm saying? You weren't even there for me when I needed you. We had to sneak out the back to survive. Like, so I feel her on that. But
I mean, I understand that, but she didn't go after them either. Like, she didn't go after them. Like, law is law. Like she will protect Wakanda regardless. Like law is law. Yeah. But when she saw T'Challa was alive, she was like, the ceremony's not done. He's alive. He didn't yield. So it's not like she betrayed the throne. She thought T'Challa was gone after the cliff incident. When she saw that he was alive, oh, he didn't yield. Ceremony's still on, player. So, when y'all go attack him, he didn't lose. So he is until he yields. Boom. He's the king. So, I mean, it is what it is when it comes to that. But a lot of stuff in the movie, Namor,
my man's name mean no love. I thought that shit was
his,
so cool.
like I said, like people didn't believe Namor's an asshole, bro, and he go get way worse. Like when Secret Wars come out, he is they go. I need that scene. I need that scene where they say them like I might not be known on Earth like all that, but I don't know them people at all. If I gotta choose the Earth, I'm choosing our Earth. We can kill them. We can kill them. I don't give a damn about
a relationship with him, but I wish I knew his name off the top of my head who plays his character. They did phenomenal. Him and Namora and Atuma and like all those characters, like that shit, like just looking at Talo Khan, that shit was so beautiful. Talking about how he brought the sun to his people, and then I know, like the Hispanic culture was just like so excited because what his name, Kuku Khan or however you say it. I think that's based off like something real in there, like Mayan heritage and stuff like that. So I know it was good. Like a lot of people don't understand representation does matter for some people. Some of y'all just don't give a fuck about y'all life anyway. So of course you don't care about that. But to people that really care about certain things, that stuff matters. Just like when you watch Moon Knight, when that girl was like, "Are you a superhero?" and she was Egyptian, like she looking at like this the first, female Egyptian superhero. I'm saying like all that shit matters to people. Seeing Miss Marvel, like that stuff matters. Right. Like imagine being a comic book fan since you were born. Like soon as you could read, you reading comics. And then you finally get to see your heritage or somebody that looks like you on screen for the first time instead of all these whitewashed characters that you've been looking at all these years, because even the people that created those characters didn't always intend for them to be white. It's the people that illustrated them that made them that way. Like I didn't know until recently that Rogue was supposed to look like Grace Jones. That's who she was supposed to be modeled after. I just found that out within like the last month.
A lot of people don't know that stuff.
Like y'all going in on Keke Palmer, but I'm like, she's supposed to look like Black Woman anyway. Like, it's just
the only character in the X-Men that is supposed to be like really white is Scott.
And that's the difference between like this culture and then you have like Japanese culture, because most people that make manga draw their own characters most times. But here when you make a character, you may not know how to draw if you make a comic book, so you may have somebody else illustrate it for you. So they gonna go off based on what they thinking you want the character to be. So that's what I'm just like,
But the ending, the fight, people like I've seen people say why is she so strong? Why is she taking on this big man? I'm like, she has the powers of Black Panther.
That's what I'm saying. Did y'all not see after she woke up?
Now I do now, and like did you not understand that she weakened him also?
Right. That's smart. Some of y'all don't know how to do that.
Like she weakened her opponent.
He got stronger, but she made him weaker too.
Like now, all things considered, like her fighting him at 100% around water, she ain't winning the fight. I'm being honest, like
right, but that's why
him at his peak, full on Namor, no way. I can admit that, but what she did, she weakened him. She was drying him out, getting him away from water.
Let's give it up to them for even figuring out how that shit worked in the first place. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had to figure that out on why he like. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought that too when they were fighting and he jumped back in the water. Because remember, I was like, why he ain't attack her like he did everybody else? Like when he was jumping on their ship and fucking it up. And he had to jump back in the water first. I'm like, is he dodging her or whatever? Then he came back up and then started doing stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like when they figured it out. So,
Like, yeah, like, and that, like, burn his ass out. Now, she could have killed him, but she didn't. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that she didn't, because we're gonna need Namor later. We're gonna need him. He is around water Hulk level strong. Without water, he's more like Thor. Which Ryan is actually. I'm good on for Ryan for knowing this stuff. This is why I'm like, I love directors who immerse themselves in what they're doing.
Yeah. And this was a good movie to introduce Namor. Like this seemed like it was perfect for him.
And I can't wait to see the Namor movie. Which is going to eat, like, people, I saw some gripes like, oh, Tala Khan wasn't all that. It didn't look all that. First of all, hold on. You show off a little bit of somebody else, somebody culture in another person's movie. Now, when you get his movie and they dive deeper into that
shit look real to me because all them people look like they was underwater, like they was living and breathing underwater, like all that, like that shit.
When they really show you Telecom, it's gonna be even bigger.
That shit, but
they gonna really dive into it in his movie.
Child, the story itself, because Shuri, I feel like she deserved to wear the Black Panther outfit in this movie with everything she had gone through. But not only that, like just seeing Wakanda on the fence, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they got vibranium. You ain't used to seeing them like struggle at all. So, you know, like when we had Thanos, like that was a different kind of situation. But like
on Earth, like
that's what I'm saying. Like we
the best.
Then you got regular assholes trying to come for y'all vibranium, you know, like that. But then
now in the comics, I do remember that even underwater, the Dora was whooping their ass. Like I'm so sick. Look it up. The Dora was beating, like they had these masks, they could go in the water and they were beating their ass.
I mean, but you got to think about it going forward too. Now that they know that they can be a threat, they gonna make that shit.
So and like that's why I was thinking about too. I was like, okay, I see what like Ryan probably was like, oh, okay, this is our first encounter, so let's put them at a disadvantage. Let's like, and I like let's make them grow.
It makes sense though because like that's why Shuri got the suit now. With
let's build something that can keep us underwater for hours at a time. Because when you think about
underwater though, we don't like he's been alive for centuries, so we don't know how long they can live underwater. And then they, you know, they gonna have families. They gonna keep they gonna keep getting bigger families. Then on top of that, you got whole big ass killer whales and shit. Animals you don't even see come to the surface of the water, like helping them too, come bringing them in. Then they had all them damn water bombs. Like them water bombs was a menace, bitch. It was just like when they came and brought that big ass, like low, like thousands of bombs to like blow this shit up. I was like, bruh, they're stressful.
And now, this whole phase is about the passing of mantles and the future. I said what they were gonna do. Eventually, and they did it in introducing Toussaint, or as we will call him, T'Challa. Now, what they're gonna do with the new T'Challa is have him be with Aurora. That's the future. You didn't erase Chadwick's T'Challa because you wouldn't have heard the end of that. That was a strategic move to say, okay, we want to keep this character alive, but we also want to keep Chadwick's T'Challa alive in our hearts and not disrespect his version of the character. So you let that version of the character pass on, and you introduce his son with Nakia, and his son in the future will be with Aurora Monroe. Well, that's going to take years. No, it's not. What are we dealing with? The multiverse. Time. We have time travel. All this will come into effect in Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty. They're probably auditioning for T'Challa's right now under some other name.
I just hope whoever, you know what I'm saying, I hope they get the right person.
That's.
I just feel like, because right now, in my mind, I can't see anybody, but I don't know. And like I said, it's a lot of underrated, hungry people out there, so I just hope, you know, the right person fill those shoes. How cute was Baby T'Challa, though, with his little dimples? He was so pretty. But that movie, you know what I'm saying? I get it ain't for everybody. Some people like it was long and it wasn't enough fighting and all that stuff. But like for what they had to do and the odds they had to overcome, and for like the cast that was already like dealing with that loss to try to like make something memorable for their friend that they lost, I just feel like it was a good movie. And then it's still, you know, a Marvel movie. Like it's still,
yeah, it was still the best Marvel movie that they've come out with. Like out of the TV shows and the movies especially, I feel like this is the best movie. If I had to say the movie that came after this as the next one that's best would be Spider-Man, and then maybe Shang-Chi for me. Like in order. Those are the top 3 movies of this phase. Black Panther, Spider-Man, Shang-Chi. And I
like
feel like people give Shang-Chi a bad rap, but I feel like it's a
I
good
liked
movie.
it. I don't know. I like the different seeing the different cultures because like that shit is beautiful. Y'all should get tired of looking at this shit that America stole. Look at some real history and cultures, bro. Like that shit was beautiful. Watching like Shang-Chi and seeing all that stuff too. I don't even remember the name of the place where. What's the name of the place?
I
Like the little
forgot.
forbidden. Like I forgot, but like that shit was beautiful seeing
I
all that
forgot.
stuff. And then like I enjoy Multiverse of Madness too. Like I like that movie too.
That would be after Shang-Chi for me,
I liked it. I mean, but like I don't know, like everything. I feel like the weakest movie that they came out with was Eternals. Like that's just me being honest, and only because I feel like I still stick by that it should have been a show because they had so many characters to introduce. So the movie was longer than it needed to be. Like had we already known them characters and they just would have got to the fight, you know what I'm saying, or something, it probably would have been better. Or they should have just did a show. But I just feel like out of all the stuff that I think they released this phase, that's probably gonna be like on the lowest for me. And I still love the characters and the people that play them. It's just that I feel like the movie was too long.
Yeah.
So
all in all, I enjoyed Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I gotta go see it again.
Yeah.
So this time I can, you know what I'm saying, not be so emotional. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then it's always good to watch stuff again anyway, because sometimes you're gonna pick up something you missed. Most times you're gonna miss something at some point. So I feel like I want to watch it again. But we enjoyed it for what it was. I applaud Ryan for, like I said, having one mindset and having to drop that and do something totally probably different than what you had in mind and still make it work for everything going forward with Marvel and stuff like that too. Still honoring y'all friend. The fact that y'all had to be on set. I know that was hard to do some of those scenes. Like you could tell that those emotions in certain scenes were real, you know, and I just have to applaud them for that. Like I would have loved to see Chadwick.
Letitia's when she got the Black Panther, when she took the synthetic herb and came out, it's like they abandoned me. Like I was like, yo, come on, man. I'm like, and you can see it on Lupita's face. Like she was like, yo, back up. Like you can see it on her face. Lupita, like she was really like nervous. Like, okay, you calm down. Like you own me right now. Like you really like pressing me.
They did it though. Like
you
I
really
ain't gonna lie, I was
pressing me.
nervous
Like
because it's like you got to figure out how to do a movie without Chadwick and still be respectful. And then on top of that, you wanted it to be slightly better than the first, of course. Like you wanted, anytime you do a sequel, you want it to be better than the first. So of course it would have been good to see like Chadwick and what he would have brought to the movie and then see where we go from there. But you know, unfortunately it didn't happen like that. But
and when she say that mannequin, I was like, yo.
Yeah. But to say that they did do the movie and it was respectful, you know, like everybody remembers, they honored him. That's something that every time you watch the movie, you'll see in the intro and the outro and nothing else. You know, you'll see how it come on, you'll see how it go off. But I really enjoyed it. They got me though, because I try not to be a crier. I don't feel like I'm a crier per se, like stuff gets to me, but like they got me with that movie.
So in future movies, M'Baku will be king. Which I understand. I mean, he will protect Wakanda regardless. Like, and I know what's going to happen when he's gonna be king, and then you're gonna have T'Challa too fight him for the throne of Wakanda, which is going to be a rough fight.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I'm interested to see Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania just to see like how, like where they go after this. Cause
and then this is the strange thing. Won't this kid have to watch his strength? Because because T'Challa had the herb in his system when they probably conceived this child. So will T'Challa too automatically have the herb in his blood?
But wouldn't you say that about his dad too, though, or no?
We don't know. We never thought about it like that. Because we don't know if they did a ceremony to remove it or not. And they had this child in secret. So who's to say if they did that or not? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you getting caught up in the moment. So you know, hey, we don't know the traditions of that. So they can play on that and say that he has it in his blood, and maybe they can do a transfusion and get the heart-shaped herb again. This is me writing right now.
Yeah. I feel like they're going to keep the one that they got, though, since they went through so much for her to get it that way. Because it's not technically synthetic anymore, in a way, because it's still pulled from the one that they had, that they got from Talokan.
True.
So, like, in a
and
way,
I know, like,
that's how she was able to actually make it, because she pulled from something that was actually natural in doing it.
But, true, but like you would want, like they would probably be like, oh well, let's use this. This is more of what's ours. And
yeah,
what was
they
ours.
can play on that too. That like, because her herb is new and never been done before, she can have abilities later on. She can find out abilities that they normally don't have that she can have now too.
She does have abilities that others don't. They just didn't tap into them in this movie.
Like, I'm just saying, like, what if she go underwater and like she could breathe like underwater for like
a certain amount because of the
yeah, because of theirs. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if she get like a mix of both, you know, like the best of both worlds with it because of how she redid it. But that's just me just throwing it out there. But again, we enjoyed the movie. So, you know, if you did get spoiled and you ain't seen the movie, go see the movie. Like, it's worth going to see. It's worth supporting.
We're going to get out of here. Yeah. Thank you for the support. It's Trey.
And it's Tasha.
Real.
You already watched, so you might as well subscribe. Please.